Hi, my name is Saul Melman, and welcome to my studio in Brooklyn, New York. In 2014, I had the good fortune of being a resident at JTAR. And during my site visit there prior to the residency, one of the things that I was struck by was the desert sunlight, specifically its crystalline sensibility. So I decided for my month-long residency to use the sunlight as a central material to my project. In order to capture the intense desert sunlight, I created a giant pinhole camera made from a shipping container. I could go inside the container and alter the composition of these images as they were being exposed. Every day at daybreak, when the sunlight was at its most intense, I created these 7-minute long exposures of a theatrical set that was comprised of various reflective materials. At nighttime, I would develop these exposures by hand, using a special process that allowed me to make additional marks onto the surface of the paper. One of the first times that I used sunlight as a central material was for an installation I made at MoMA PS1 in the dark subterranean boiler room. I scraped dirt off the windows, allowing bright beams of sunlight to travel across the space to illuminate the surface of a decommissioned furnace. And then I gold leafed the furnace, reskinning it with gold leaf, bringing back this forgotten object and imbuing it with life. In 2018, I installed a sculpture at the Decorative Museum, starting with actual salvage doors and then transforming them using a process called vacuum forming, taking thick sheets of molten plastic, which were then sucked down onto the surface of the door. And when the plastic was removed, it sheared off bits of paint and wood and stories embedded into the surface of the door. I installed them outside where the translucent casts captured the changing daylight. I also create sculptural work with handmade paper. Here I take carbon pigment, chunks of ice, and freshly pulled sheets of paper pulp and force interactions between the materials. One aspect of my work that's elemental is revealing how the work evolved into its current state of being by including traces of the process. Notions of cyclical energy, growth and decay, ephemerality, transition states. These are all ideas that are important to me that I investigate in all of the projects that I do. And I can trace this back all the way to an experience that I had living in the Amazon when I was doing some ethnobotanical research. One day I was taking a walk alone in the rainforest and was struck with the continuous churning of life and death, growth and decay, and the traces that these energies left behind. This is a drawing in my studio that was made by my daughter, who was 5 years old at the time. It's a portrait of me that I helped her out with, and there are many things I love about this drawing, including these shapes at the bottom that were the initial potential designs for the skirt on this figure that we left in that showed the process of the making of the work. But the thing I love most about this drawing is a self-portrait that my daughter did, indicating herself inside a spaceship blasting off through space. We're all astronauts in our own journey.